What happens when an ordinary man finds what looks like to be a mask, and it is, and it turns him into the green faced titular character of this film right here, and starts to be a real chaotic troublemaker, but soon turns out to be a hero in the end? That's easy. You got this film right here, and can you believe it's been 30 years since this came out? So strap yourselves in, because I'm about to give you a review of The Mask. Smokin'! This is Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. Somebody stop me! So, greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name is Dual, better known to as the Big D, and this time around I bring to you a review of the 1994 superhero comedy flick The Mask, released by New Line Cinema, directed by Chuck Russell, produced by Bob Engelman from a screenplay by Mike Werb, and a story by Michael Fallon and Mark Verheiden. Loosely based on the premiere comic book of the same name that started in 1989 and ran until 1991 by Mike Richardson and published by Dark Horse Comics. The film stars Jim Carrey as the titular character and his mild-mannered alter ego, Stanley Ipkiss, along with Peter Greene, Amy Yasbeck, Richard Jeni, and Cameron Diaz in her film debut. Now, of course, this follows an ordinary man who finds a magical wooden mask that transforms him into the titular green-faced troublemaker who can cartoonishly alter himself and his surroundings at will. The film was released on this day, July 29th, 1994. Henceforth, today is the film's 30th anniversary. This film eventually became a big hit for New Line, and it established Cameron Diaz as a leading lady, since it was her first film, and cemented Mr. Jim Carrey's reputation as a significant actor of the 1990s. Now, this was released about a half a year after he made it with Ace Ventura: Pet Detective earlier that year. Now, let's get into the story. In Edge C, insecure bank teller Stanley Ipkiss is frequently ridiculed by everyone except for his co-worker and best friend, Charlie Shoemaker. Meanwhile, gangster Dorian Tyrell, whose boss Nico owns the Coco Bongo nightclub, plots to overthrow Nico. One day, Tyrell sends his dazzling singer girlfriend, Tina Carlisle, into the bank to record its layout for an upcoming robbery. Stanley is attracted to Tina, and she is seemingly reciprocates. After being denied entrance to the Coco Bongo to watch Tina perform, Stanley's faulty loaner car breaks down during his drive home. While looking over the harbor bridge in despair, he tries rescuing a humanoid figure in the waters, but finds out it's a pile of garbage concealing a wooden mask. Upon returning to his apartment and donning the mask, he is transformed into a green-faced and zoot-suited trickster. Yeah, I said zoot. I should say zoot, but it can be pronounced either way, I think. Known as the Mask, who can cartoonishly alter himself and his surroundings at will. With newfound confidence, Stanley indulges in a comical rampage through the sea, humiliating several of his tormentors, including his temperamental landlady Agnes Pinman and the mechanics who gave him the faulty car. The next morning, Stanley encounters Lieutenant Mitch Kellaway and newspaper reporter Peggy Brand, who are investigating the mask's activity. To obtain the funds necessary to attend Tina's performance, Stanley dons the mask and raids the bank, inadvertently foiling Tyrell's robbery. At the Coco Bongo, Stanley dances exuberantly with Tina, whom he ends up kissing. Shortly after, Tyrell confronts him for disrupting the robbery, and Stanley flees, leaving behind a scrap of cloth from his suit, which reverts into a piece of his pajamas. After arresting Tyrell and his henchmen, Kellaway finds the piece of cloth and suspects Stanley's involvement. Later, Stanley consults psychiatrist Arthur Newman, who has recently published a book on masks, and deduces that the mask may be a creation of Loki and its powers are only active at night. Though Newman believes it is mythology, he concludes that the mask's personality is based on Stanley's repressed desires. That night, Stanley meets Tina at a local park as the mask until they are interrupted by Kellaway, who attempts to capture him. Stanley flees with Peggy after he distracts the police with a masked performance of the titular song from Cuban Pete. She then reluctantly betrays him to Tyrell for a $50,000 bounty. After Tyrell becomes a bulky and malevolent being, when he dons the mask, he has his henchmen force Stanley to reveal the location of the stolen money before turning him into the police with a green rubber mask that implicates Stanley. When Tina visits Stanley at the station, he urges her to leave the city, but not before she thanks Stanley for showing her kindness and telling him that the mask was unnecessary. She attempts to flee, but is kidnapped by Tyrell, who prepares her for the charity ball at the Coco Bongo, hosted by Nico and attended by the city's elite, including the mayor. Upon arrival, the masked Tyrell murders Nico and prepares to destroy the club with a time bomb. Stanley's dog Milo helps his owner escape from the station by retrieving the keys from the guard. Stanley sets out to stop Tyrell, taking Kellaway hostage. Alright, now for the ending. As always, you know the procedure. You have 5 seconds to stop this video. Go to the description box below and fast forward to the time below. If you've seen the movie already, please continue. Okay, you've been warned. After locking Kellaway in his car, Stanley enters the club and enlists Charlie's help. But he is quickly discovered and is captured. Tina tricks Tyrell into removing the mask, which is recovered and donned by Milo, who battles his way through Tyrell's henchmen as Stanley and Tyrell fight each other. Stanley retrieves the mask, uses its powers to dispose of the bomb seconds before it detonates, and then sends Tyrell down the drain of the club's ornamental fountain. The police arrive and arrest Tyrell's henchmen. Kellaway tries arresting Stanley again, but the mayor intervenes, implicating Tyrell as the mask and praising Stanley as a hero. The following day, Stanley, now falsely exonerated and more secure, returns to the harbor bridge with Tina, Charlie, and Milo. Discarding the mask, Tina and Stanley share a kiss to the latter's delight. And in the end, Charlie then tries to retrieve the mask for himself, only for Milo to swim away with it. End of story. So, what did I think of The Mask? I am going to say this film's a blast. It's absolutely very funny and what have you. I have seen this film a few times and what have you, and I think it's very, very funny. The film became such a big hit for New Line, eventually making over 351 million worldwide against its 18 to 23 million dollar budget, which made it the most profitable film based on a comic up to that point. And the film also influenced the resurgence of swing music in the 90s as well. Jim Carrey later got nominated for a Golden Globe for his role. The film was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects, but unfortunately lost to Forrest Gump. Now, of course, this, as I've said earlier, this was released just almost a half a year after Ace Ventura: Pet Detective was a big success, and just a few months later, Carrey would follow this up with Dumb and Dumber. I will be reviewing that later on when its anniversary comes up, and it would help launch the actor to superstardom. The Mask was the most successful of the three films, both critically and commercially. The film sits at 80% on Certified Fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, saying it misses perhaps as often as it hits, but Jim Carrey's manic bombast, Cameron Diaz's blousy appeal, and the film's overall cartoony bombast keep the film afloat. Metacritic has a score of 56, and CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of a B plus. Now on TV's At the Movies, Siskel and Ebert gave the film 2 thumbs up. In his column, Ebert, who was underwhelmed by his performance in Ace Ventura, thought Carrey found a perfect vehicle in The Mask. He also praised the art design, called Diaz a true discovery, while Siskel, who has similar dislike for Ace Ventura, praised Carrey's performance in The Mask by stating that he was better used as an ingredient instead of as the plot. And he also commended Diaz's performance, and he overall called the film the latest example of technique overriding the written word in American film. Definitely. Anyway, aside from that, Carrey also unfortunately got nominated for Worst New Star at the Razzies. But however, aside from the Academy Awards and the Golden Globe nominations, the film also got nominated for Best Fantasy Film, Best Costumes, and Best Makeup at the Saturn Awards. So that was good. Anyway, now the film, after it's made 350 million worldwide, it became the second highest grossing superhero movie at the time, right behind the original Batman. Not original, like Adam West, I mean, as in the one with Michael Keaton. Now, in terms of global gross compared to budget, the film became the most profitable comic book movie of all time and remained so until 2019 when Joker surpassed it. Nevertheless, I found The Mask to be exciting and fun, zany, outrageously crazy, and all that jazz. I absolutely love the cartoonishly feel, feel and what have you, just parts of it, and yeah, just so incredible. Anyway, now there would be a video game released on Super Nintendo by Black Pearl Software. I have looked at a play of this game and it looks okay, but I doubt I'd ever played this. The following year after this was released, an animated TV series premiered on CBS, produced by Sunbow Entertainment, which made their second, major TV series that I know of to come to major network television after Conan and the Young Warriors. Rob Paulsen, who of course was best known for his voice acting work in the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Animaniacs, and several other tunes, voiced Stanley Ipkiss and The Mask, while Neil Ross voiced Kellaway. Though the series was based on the film and making some minor references to its events, it is set in alternate continuity where Ipkiss keeps the mask and Tina's absent and the mask works during daytime. Its final episode was a crossover with Ace Ventura, who, of course, a year later would get his own show, which also would be shown on CBS. There was an animated series of Dumb and Dumber, but that came on ABC, and I'll be talking about those. I'll talk about those later on when I do Saturday morning TV logs of those. But anyway, I thought the story and the setting for the film was good. The art, the background arts, and I think you understand what I'm trying to say, is incredible. The score was done by Randy Edelman, who's done some pretty good scores, and I'd say he does one hell of a job. For our cast, we have Jim Carrey as Stanley Ipkiss and The Mask, and let me tell you, he's absolutely crazy as The Mask. Believe me, as much as I liked him in as Ace Ventura, he's even more funnier as The Mask. Definitely. Peter Greene played Dorian, a great villain. I really thought that was pretty cool. Cameron Diaz really shines in her debut as Tina. I must say she was just so wow. Let's see. Peter Riegert played Kellaway. Let's see, and Richard Jeni played Charlie. He's pretty good as well. And Amy Yasbeck played Peggy Brandt. We have some other people in this as well, including Jim Dugan, who played Kellaway's partner, Detective Doyle, which that's spelled differently than my own. Mr. Ben Stein plays Dr. Arthur Newman. He, of course, would later reprise that role when he voiced the character in the Mask animated series. There would be lots of others and what have you. So anyway, the cast was pretty good too. Oh yeah, also over a decade after this, New Line would give us a standalone sequel without Mr. Carrey and Son of the Mask in early 2005. I've seen that film. I didn't think it was good at all. That film bombed at the box office. But I will probably review that later on, possibly next year. We'll see. So overall, The Mask was awesome. It had such great art style, great score from Randy Edelman, and I gotta give credit to the director of the film, Chuck Russell, who, of course, recently did Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors, as well as the 1988 remake of The Blob. He would later go on to direct The Scorpion King years later. And the cast is good too. Everything was just so superb about this. So, would I recommend The Mask? I'd say, hell yeah, go for it. You will love this film if you haven't seen it. I would highly recommend this film to you, definitely. So what did you think of The Mask? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the nation, excuse me. Continue to help support my channel. Make it grow and make the views grow. Now, I was thinking of reviewing that film Love Lies Bleeding, but I'm gonna put that on hold and I will have it come up do that next month, okay? So I'm gonna try and make up for failing to give for missing out on the days of the reviews for these two. I was intending to do anniversary reviews of. So next up will be my iRobot review, and then the next day will be When Harry Met Sally. Okay. So if you like this, consider checking out my reviews for these other Jim Carrey films. In the upper left-hand corner is my review of the film that put him on the map, Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. Or if you would like, maybe you'd like a little holiday feel with Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas from 2000 in the upper right-hand corner. Or maybe you'd like to see him as one real funny guy. Check out my review of Liar Liar from 1997 in the bottom left-hand corner. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya!